The biggest fight the UFC could put on right now is Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall. Nothing else really comes close. Not Max versus Topuria, not Sean O'Malley versus Topuria, not even Alex Pereira versus Tom Aspinall. And a big reason why is because Jones has been dominating the sport for over 13 years, looking nearly unstoppable. Well, except for that close call with Dominic Reyes. But now it feels like he's finally met his match in the heavyweight division with Tom Aspinall. This is a fight everyone wants to see, the clash of the legend versus the new generation, the new breed of heavyweight. And everyone wants to see this fight except Jon Jones. Jones has admitted more than once that he doesn't want to fight Tom Aspinall. Instead, he's focused on fighting an older, out of prime Stipe Miocic, probably just to add another big name to his legacy before retiring. But here's the thing, Jones is still the heavyweight champion, and he hasn't defended the title in a year and a half. Meanwhile, Tom Aspinall has been gunning for that belt, poking at Jones for months. Honestly, it seems like Jones is starting to crack with his replies since they're getting a bit shaky. And if you ask me, we're likely on the verge of seeing these two finally clash. And man, I'm really hoping this fight happens, but honestly, I have my doubts. And if you ask me, Tom Aspinall is a nightmare matchup for Jon Jones, especially at this stage in Jones' career. I mean, let's be real, he's not exactly in peak shape anymore. The guy put on some weight, and it's not all muscle like he claims it would be. I also think he dodged Francis Ngannou for the same reason. He said he was going to bulk up for heavyweight, but when he came back, he was just heavier and fat. Plus, he's getting older, so it's no surprise he's dealing with injuries too. And honestly, as much as everyone wants to hype up the Gane victory, let's be real, Jon's striking looked terrible in that fight. His last three performances at light heavyweight weren't anything special either. You can see that his competition was getting better while he was getting older, and maybe the PEDs played a part in his strength decline. People keep praising his win over Gane, but I didn't think it was anything special. It looked like Gane was just mentally broken, and he handed Jones the win. Alright, let's break this fight down. Between the two and how it might play out, one of the key reasons that made Jon Jones so dominant was his ability to leverage his reach and his size against his opponents. I mean, the dude had an 84-inch reach advantage. Jones had an almost unfair advantage. Normally, a fighter's reach is just a few inches longer than their height, but Jones' reach was 7 to 8 inches. Beyond that, he was massive for the light heavyweight division, and this guy had a size advantage allowed him to outgrapple many of his opponents, especially early in his career. A lot of those opponents looked like middleweights compared to him. But even prior to that, he also had a solid wrestling background. The dude was able to take down Olympic wrestlers like DC, which is incredible by the way, and he was strong in the clinch, and he had those nasty elbows, trips, takedowns, and leg kicks. Jones loved to impose his will on his opponents, and that's why he's been so successful in his career. I'm not taking anything away from him, but from what I've seen, the way to beat him, or at least come close, is by being around the same height and size as him, like Dominic Reyes and Gus in their first fight. That's where Jones really struggles. You see, Reyes and Gus both have a similar height and reach to Jones, which took away some of his usual advantages. Jones typically uses his reach to keep his opponents at bay, but these two, they didn't work as well. Reyes put consistent pressure on Jones with a barrage of punches and kicks, especially with that left hand, which landed over and over. His movement was the key too. He kept circling and creating angles that threw Jones off, making it hard for him to find some success. As for Gus, his footwork in the first fight was just effective. He was always on the move, stopping Jones from getting his usual control of the octagon. Gus's boxing really shone through as well. He landed clean shots, especially with his jab and his uppercut, by keeping the fight at range. That was really working for him. Gus was able to score points and do some real damage to Jones. It really boils down to the boxing, and Tom excels in that area. He's got the reach, the speed, the power, and the footwork, all the key elements. That's what he's known for, and it's been effective since he's been finishing his opponents in the first or second round consistently. Most fighters eventually fold under Jones' pressure, but Tom is a different case. His speed, especially in the heavyweight division, it might even be faster than Jones. Plus, let's not forget that Jones' striking didn't look great in the Gane fight. He appeared very slow and out of shape, which could be a problem against someone like Tom. And if somehow Jones brought his famous oblique kicks or just his leg kicks in general, I honestly think there's an opening for Tom. Plenty of fighters have intercepted Jones before, like Lyoto Machida, Gus, and Dominic Reyes. As long as Tom keeps the pressure on and focuses on Jones, Jones should have a harder time and he will continue to reset. Tom should be fine, but what does worry me for Tom is Jones' clinch game. Jones is notorious for being brutal in the clinch, especially with his brutal elbows, his nasty knees in the clinch, not to mention that dirty shoulder lie. That's one area that does concern me because we haven't really seen Tom get tested in the clinch yet. And the reason why we haven't seen Tom in the clinch yet is because he's been steamrolling everyone in a round or two with his quick heavyweight blitz. And if you think the wrestling of Jones is the key to victory, then you're dead wrong. Sure, he looked incredible against Gane, where he bulldozered his way through him. But Gane arguably gave up in that fight, and he ain't no Tom Aspinall, son. Tom's proven himself to be a high-level grappler and a wrestler too. Plus, Tom Aspinall is arguably a bit bigger than Jon, so as long as Tom doesn't slip on a banana peel, I really don't see Jon taking him down. If anything, I could see them cancel each other out in that area. And let me tell you this, man, if it turns into a kickboxing match, Jon isn't going to win. Like I mentioned earlier, his striking looked awful, he's past his prime, and besides the Cyril Gane fight, his last three performances at light heavyweight were terrible, and let's not forget he's inactive, unlike Tom. And look, man, I don't blame Jon for not wanting to fight Tom, but my main issue with him is that he's holding onto the heavyweight title and he's jamming up the division just to fight an old dude named Stipe Miocic who's out of his prime. Honestly, Jon doesn't even need the heavyweight belt. He's already a big enough draw to headline any UFC pay-per-view without it. That's why a lot of fans are frustrated. They're saying if you want to be the champ, then you have to fight the interim champ like it's supposed to be. Do I think the fight is actually going to happen? No, I don't. As much as I would love to see it, Jon has never once mentioned being interested in fighting Tom. I think he's more interested in fighting Alex because of the momentum and star power that the guy has. But I doubt this fight will ever happen. Even if Jones gets past Stipe, I think he's just going to retire. And this will just be one of those huge fights that never happened, you know, like a GSP versus Silva. Let us say hypothetically that Tom Aspinall and Jon Jones were to face off. I do strongly believe that Aspinall would dominate Jones within a round or two. It would be an easy win, especially given where Jones is in his career now. Ideally, after Jones beats Stipe, he should pass the torch to Aspinall in the cage. He should pass him the belt. But even that might be a stretch. I just can't stand Jon Jones, honestly. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments down below who you guys think would win between Jones and Aspinall. And like always, guys, I'll see you guys on my next one.